presidents have the power of pardon, and they often use it on their way out the door. Sometimes they use it to pardon people not especially deserving. Bill Clinton pardoned fugitive Mark Rich, and Trump pardoned Paul Manafort and Roger Stone. Now comes a provocative suggestion that President Biden use his authority to pardon the many former officials and others who have been vocal critics of Donald Trump. The pardons would protect legally and financially people like Liz Cheney and Mark Milley, who Trump has threatened to go after when he assumes office. So, Lisa, should Biden take that kind of a step?
Absolutely not. I could not disagree more with that assertion. I mean, this would just further politicize the rule of law. And furthermore, you know, even if these pardons could not protect future criticism, so the only way they would do any of these people any good is if they forswore any future dissent or criticism. They would need another pardon after they engaged in additional conduct. It would protect them against any state-level prosecution. So if Trump allies in the state governments decided to go after them, it would do them no good. And furthermore, pardons are traditionally viewed as a tacit admission of guilt. So for that reason and for other reasons, you know, people might be inclined to turn them down.
It's interesting that you said it wouldn't protect them against future criticism, which is what we're talking about. But even the fact that that's what seems to be on the table.
It's horrifying.
Is criticism.
But we don't, you know, I just don't think two wrongs make a right. It's that simple. This just isn't right.
No, I totally agree. You can, on the surface, make an argument that we should protect or at least acknowledge the fact that people like Liz Cheney and even Mike Pence did some courageous, I'll use the word courageous, things in terms of standing up to Donald Trump when so many Republicans did for a couple of minutes and then saw which side their bread was buttered on and went back right to him. So I will accept the fact that we owe them something, but this is not the right way to do it. One, again, it's almost a tacit acknowledgement that they have done something wrong. It also isn't going to prevent Trump from doing other things to harass these people and try to prosecute them in various ways. So I agree this sends a terrible signal, and I don't think that we should move down.
Sarah, do you agree with that?
I don't actually agree. I have a slightly different take. I mean, I think your arguments are really good, but I also feel like, and I'm going to be saying this a lot the next 4 years, I've said it before, desperate times call for desperate measures. You know, I think in 4 years, it's going to feel really quaint that we're so worried about the norms that Biden broke if he ends up pardoning these people, you know. I mean, let's keep in mind, Trump is probably going to pardon himself, you know, while he's in office, and pardon all these January 6 folks who tried to overthrow the election. And so I think it's actually not a bad idea. I think it's, like you guys were saying, I feel like we owe these people something for their courage. And I'm not really worried about norm breaking. I mean, Trump got us into this position, right? So let's put the blame where it's deserved, not on Biden. The pardon power is broad, and so there's no constitutional limits really on pardon power. So I don't see how this is really destroying anything, you know, of importance. I think it's providing some protection from lawsuits that, you know, lots of money that someone like Liz Cheney would have to spend if she had to defend herself.
Mm-hmm.
Although it provides no protection against civil litigation. It's only against federal criminal offenses.
Mm-hmm. It seems to me that if President Trump were really to go after people the way he says, he would want it to be a criminal charge,
but,
right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
But I take your point, Honor Bond. Is there a moral obligation or for Biden to try and protect these people who stood up?
It's breaking norms to kind of pardon preemptively like that in this kind of context. But you know, the norms were broken. Like Trump didn't put his tax records. He wants to, pardon the January 6th rioters and so on. So, you know, I am conflicted about this. I do think that if one side is doing something that is so egregious, right, like, you know, the other side, it's within their rights to follow that. But do I have a lot of love for Cheney's? No, I do not, right? Like, but also, what would they be prosecuted on? I think this Trump would kind of lay off on this, right? What are crimes that he will find at the state level or the federal level? This will be too much of a distraction to him. So I think this is a boogie person that he kind of raises so that people will kind of focus on that while he can channel out all kind of carve-outs within the government. So it might be a smoke screen more than anything really real.
And the
Arnabon
judicial
reaches-
system is still in place.
Yes, it
You
is.
raise a very good question. At what point do you have to fight fire with fire? And that is one, you know, if you and I are playing chess and you cheat, I can walk away and say, I'm not playing with you anymore.
Right.
But what happens if I don't have that choice because we're both in the same employment or we're both in the same country? At what point do I just sit there, continue to play the game by the rules, and you cheat and you win every time? So I understand, Sarah, also what you're saying. I don't know where that line is. For me, this doesn't cross that line.
So if Biden is to use his power of pardon, there's one other pardon that's out there, potential pardon, his son.
Yeah, which I also would say is completely not right. It's just not right.
I don't think he'll do that, honestly. I think
I-
that would look too political. But for these people who have actually committed no crimes, you know, I don't see how that's being political because they actually didn't commit crimes, right? And so he's protecting them. It's a preemptive sort of protective measure.
So, but they haven't committed crimes. So, but I think as Lisa started off saying, there's an implication that when you pardon somebody that they have. So
I think if you asked Liz Cheney in private or Adam Schiff, would they like it? I'm guessing they'd say yes.
Again, it does them no good in the future, though. They would be
Right.
never again. I mean, it would do them no protection against future criticisms.
right, I'm guessing Liz Cheney would not want
Turn it down. She'll
Yeah,
turn it down.
I think she's tough as nails and she'll fight him to
Possibly,
the end.
yeah.